At the end of this video, I'll tell you the story of the LS500 and a $500 ticket. Subscribe to this channel, click notifications so you don't ever miss a video, okay? When Toyota's premium brand arrived in 1989, the flagship LS was the only model designed from the ground up as a Lexus. It pleasantly surprised luxury car buyers while startling premium American and German makes. So you have to believe the LS has a special place with the engineers, even in its fifth generation. I'll argue it's the best looking vehicle the designers have penned recently, with a sleek, sinewy cohesion to the lines. Not sure which is richer and deeper, the atomic silver paint or Bill Gates. These letters announce all four wheels are driven, and this one says it's a gas-electric hybrid, though none of them will do the ownership cost algebra for you. Compared to the twin-turbo V6 LS, the hybrid version costs about $4,500 more. You might be wondering, Tom, would I make that up with fuel efficiency? And the answer is yes. Eventually, the EPA estimates that it'll take around 15 years or so. So if you're a finance person, you might want to run the numbers. Maybe it's not about financials. Some owners enjoy telegraphing the LS500H's ecological image, or there's joy in owning advanced technology and engineering. Indulgence is a thing in every LS. This one is equipped with the luxury package, so there's exceptionally soft quilted leather draped over the heated, vented, and massaging seats, and it's a pretty decent body rub. The 23-speaker Mark Levinson sound system with CD player must be heard to be appreciated. So this car is optioned up with the $12,250 package that adds a whole bunch of things to the back seat. You must be in heaven. Yeah, I don't know that it's worth the extra money. What? Now, hear me out, okay? I love the extra accoutrements. It's who I am, it's what I love, but if you're the driver, you're never going to experience any of these things, so why pay extra? Now, we're both 5'9", and space is certainly not an issue back here. Head, knee, foot, and legroom are all very, very generous, as you might imagine.
And if I was sitting on the other side, I could selfishly give myself even more legroom than needed, and I am selfish. I'll start with the basics. Phones can be charged up. There are pockets on both seats. Cushions and the seat back can be tailored the way I want them, and Lexus hasn't chinsed out on trim here. Using the touchpad that has an interface that's easier to use than the one up front, I can set the climate control, adjust the heated and vented seats, and move all of the sunshades, and there are a lot of them. Let me see how unruly my hair is getting. Spend another 11 grand and there's shiatsu massage and a retractable footstool for true lounging. This is a large sedan, but the drive shaft tunnel means it's best for two and back.
Well, the massaging front seats are part of that package, so I would go for it. Really? With the kind of money we've been making or not making lately? Let's get to the powertrain, the multi-stage hybrid. This 3.5-liter V6 is not turbocharged. It's assisted by two electric motors for a total of 354 horsepower. And like the Europeans, the Lexus wants premium gasoline. Keep in mind, at around 5,200 pounds, the hybrid is heavier by 110 lbs's and down on power compared to the less expensive twin-turbo V6 model. The lithium-ion battery pack is 1.1 kilowatt hours, not very big. There's a pure electric mode. Wealthy people can probably get down their long driveway with it, and that's about it. LS has one of the most immersive head-up displays you can buy. The hybrid's transmission is a technology tour de force, combining a continuously variable unit with a 4-speed tuned to feel like a 10-speed geared transmission. There are drive modes, all cars seem to have those these days. They're selected here. I keep seeing Frankenstein's neck bolts. In sport mode, the gas engine is more eager to ignite. Notice the gauge cluster is much smaller than, say, 7 Series, S-Class, and A8. The optional adaptive air suspension gets a quick rise feature. With a very light foot on the throttle, the LS will move forward in electric power only. That's pretty much par for the course for most hybrid systems. This is different, though, from most Toyota systems in that it's pretty darn quick. 0 to 60 happens in just over 5 seconds. Also, this one is more fuel efficient during highway driving. Most Toyota systems do better in city driving. And no, it does not get 50 mpg plus like a Prius. This all-wheel drive model is EPA rated at 26 miles per gallon on average. But it is faster. There's a surprising amount of deep engine growl under hard acceleration. In operation, hybrid powertrains usually feel different than gas-only vehicles. In large part, the LS500h has a very normal dynamic. Even the trick transmission feels traditional. For the most part, I'm wondering if the twin-turbo's 10-speed drivetrain is smoother. Occasionally, while slowing down, the V6 kicks on and the transmission downshifts rather than the expected electric glide of regeneration. Not sure why, maybe to simulate a standard gas-only setup? I'd rather have consistency. Fortunately, the brake pedal feel has that. Transition from regenerative braking that sends power back to the battery to actually using the physical disc brakes is pretty good in this car. You don't really notice it at all. I've always described the overall Lexus feel as triple Teflon coated, and the LS500h excels in that regard. There's some road feel coming up through the wheel. The body doesn't bob, roll, and dive much for a big Luxo sedan. It's composed. I wouldn't call it athletic. Automatic emergency braking and adaptive cruise are standard. A $3,000 safety package improves those and adds lane change and active steering assist, plus front cross traffic alert. Overall, it drives like a Lexus, a modern luxury vehicle. It's comfortable, it's controlled, it's quiet. If you wanted something sporty, what about a Porsche? A reminder that Panamera and 7 Series are available as plug-in hybrids for wealthy folks looking to cut gas consumption significantly, or there's Tesla Model S. This LS I'm driving, the more expensive hybrid with optional all-wheel drive and the $12,000 luxury package, retails for just over $108,000. That's not pocket change, but it's noticeably less expensive than comparably equipped German sedans. The real bargain in this class is Genesis G90. That's not electrified in any way, shape, or form. So do you go with the gas-only model, or do you choose this hybrid? That's a difficult question. It's not for fuel savings because there's not much of a difference and gas is cheap these days. You're really gonna have to drive both, see which one you like, because obviously you're spending a lot of money here. And the practical Midwest-raised boy in me always feels that after $75,000 or so, there's diminishing returns in what a car offers an owner other than exclusivity. At that price point, they're all quiet and comfortable with advanced technology. A reminder, a perfectly wonderful rear-drive base LS retails for around $76,000, and that the hybrid is not available in F-Sport trim. Part of the LS appeal comes from an opulent cabin that intimately wraps and swoops around occupants without feeling claustrophobic. The patterns make me think of wind tunnel aerodynamics. Japanese crystal trim? Yes, crystal is an option. This wood inlay is lovely. Wish there was a piece of it here. This looks like decor swiped from a Marriott hotel. There's some basic ambient lighting, nothing dramatic like BMW does. There are the usual places to put stuff away. The double hinge accommodates those riding shotgun. Door pockets are lined so things don't rattle. None of these spaces are SUV huge, even though this is a large car. Personally, I'd like to see the full glass roof here, not available on the hybrid. Lately, I've been stressing that people need to take a good hard look at the user interface. They're very important. They control a whole bunch of different things. About the only thing they don't do these days is give haircuts, which is a crying shame. Lexus uses this trackpad. I am not all that crazy about it. Evil Twin is right. The interface in back is better. The pad action is jittery and awkward to use when parked, let alone while driving, and voice prompts are average at best. The large screen looks rich, but it's not a touchscreen, it's blocked by a cover. Lexus has heard the complaints and will be ditching the pad in future models. Apple CarPlay is along for the ride. Android Auto is not, at least for now. Nope, still not doing the TP trunk test. In the past couple weeks, I've been putting things very creative in the cargo hold. And this week is a big surprise. It's a suitcase? Just a suitcase? They can't all be Emmy Award winning.
It's easy to see this is not the automotive equivalent of a walk-in closet. I'll throw my camera bag in here for scale. I'm sure 4 carry-on suitcases will fit, probably 5. Maybe it's why people are buying SUVs. There's a first aid kit. The seats do not split and fold, so if you're heading off to IKEA to pick up a shelving unit, well, you might do better with a Corolla hatchback with the seats dropped. Seriously, there's no spare, pretty common with luxury cars. There's the battery. To keep things from rattling around while driving, there are optional cargo nets, pretty nice ones actually. Most luxury sedans have trunks set up this way. Nothing unusual here.
Will owners find the LS to be an ultra-luxurious sedan? Of course, but the money is in SUVs these days, and the brands LX and GX are long in the tooth. There are rumors that the LS's architecture will spawn a new flagship crossover, maybe something like the LF1 Limitless concept it's shown off. Nothing wrong with that. Apparently, Lexus has trademarked the LQ moniker, so stay tuned. But for now, buyers wanting the top dog Lexus will go with the sleek LS and choose between standard and hybrid powertrains. Going with the quicker twin-turbo V6 model is cheaper, kind of like Lexus throwing all-wheel drive and a panoramic glass roof in for free. Having a hard time deciding between the two? We should all have such troubles in our lives. One thing about the Mark Levinson system, I wrote a New York Times story about how awesome sound systems are, and the engineers that I spoke to said an equivalent home system would cost $100,000, so it's like getting the car for free. Let's revisit design for a moment. Notice that the taillights have the Lexus L repeating in them, and for those who knock the spindle grille, I get it, but sales rose once it started appearing on the cars, so it's hard to argue with that. Automakers are in the business of making money after all. Finally, a shout out to the charming and camera-shy Mrs. Car Guy, who's driving so I can shoot running footage while the state of Washington is social distancing. Everybody, my lovely wife, Mariko, is in the back, enjoying the back seat. She doesn't like to be on camera. So can you at least say hi?
Hello, from the back seat.
There you go. That's all you're going to get from her. She's doing it for the hot fudge sundae. It used to be donuts. Now it's hot fudge sundaes.
Whichever is closer.
Sometimes sushi. Definitely chocolate cake, right?
Anytime.
I have to bribe her. She's not a car person. All right, we're off to Dairy Queen.
As promised, the story of the LS500 and a very expensive ticket. Back a few years ago, I was at the press launch for this car in San Francisco, and I asked the Lexus people, can I get a car so I can start shooting some static shots? And they said, sure, but don't go to the Presidio, don't go to Golden Gate Park, because we don't have a photo permit. And I said, yeah, sure. So take the car, and I keep looking for a place to shoot it and can't find anywhere. And I finally run across this place and kind of wondering if it's in the Presidio, but maybe not. And I decide I'll just grab a couple quick shots, which turns into about 45 minutes. As usual, I'm pushing my luck. And as I'm putting my gear in the trunk, I look down the road and I see a Ranger coming towards me in her cruiser. And I get into the car and she pulls up next to me and says, hey, are you with the Lexus group? And I say, nope. And she said, did I see you putting camera gear in the trunk? And I said, nope. And she says, can I see inside? And I went, nope, not unless you have a warrant. And she looks at me and says, you best get out of here. So I do. Later on at dinner, I'm talking to the Lexus folks and they go, oh my goodness, you know, that's a $500 ticket. One of our group got one of those yesterday, so I dodged it. I didn't get the ticket, somebody else did. Would have been tough to expense that. A reminder, subscribe to this channel, click notifications so you never miss any of these reviews, all right? All right, that's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.